Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Can you confirm if you can hear me and hear me well? Because I did not realize that my headphones are dead. So until like a second ago. No, this isn't playing either. What the heck? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's too loud. Okay. Is the sound like okay? Should I try and I don't know where my little mic is at. We're just gonna have to do it like this today. Good morning, everybody. Let's start with actually, let's start with a song and a card. So pick a number 1 or 2 and see what your song and card is. If you picked number 1, forgiveness, seeking, freedom, and healing is coming to you. Look, you're getting like the golden ticket for either forgiveness, seeking, freedom, or healing. Heart Beat Here by Dashboard Confessional is the song. And if you picked number 2, point of view, gratitude, assistance, guidance, and understanding. So you're getting a different perspective on something. Iris by Grace Davies is the song. Well, it's a remake. Alrighty, let's get started. I'm going to stay on for about an hour because then I have to hop off and try and catch up on readings. Let's go back to the top. Thank you to my mods that are here. Oh, before we start, please know that I will not comment to you asking you to invest. This is off too. There we go. I will not reach out to you and ask you for anything. Any time that there is a financial exchange, it will be in my Stan Store. No other way. Definitely not through YouTube comments. I only have one account. And there are apparently a lot of scammers. So please be aware of that. Okay, let's get started. When will my son Adam find that one? He first is going to find what he doesn't want before he finds what he does. I do feel like this is literal. I feel like within the next 7 years, there's going to be a process of the wrong one coming in. It may be getting a little bit serious and then realizing that's the wrong one and then looking ahead to the right one. I feel like all of that is going to happen within that time frame. And it's a major lesson that is going to help put him on the path to the right person. Should I invest seriously in my buy and sell idea? Feels good in the experimental stages I'm on. Yes, buy and sell, but something about either the way that you're drawing in business, like there's going to be something that takes a pivot, but it's going in the right direction. It's going somewhere, but there's going to need a pivot for it to continue to go somewhere. I almost want to say this is in how you're getting clients, or maybe widening the perspective of how you're getting the clients or something like that. But yes, overall, yes. Will my daughter get out of the toxic relationship with her son's father? It feels like she's in a cycle of almost doing that and then not, or at least in her mind, like trying to work up to it and then being convinced otherwise. I do see her leaving, but I also feel like it's like leaving and then going back, or like almost leaving and then not fully leaving. Not that it's not possible, but I feel like I almost want to say it has to get a little worse for her to really recognize it, for that to happen. And it doesn't feel like it's at that stage yet. Not that it's not possible, but I don't feel like she's going to recognize it until it gets to that stage. Why does my ex, who I ended things with almost 2 years ago, keep coming into my dreams and subconscious? What's his deal? Oh, that's a I'm not letting you go. I don't want to let you go, but I don't have the ego availability to tell you that in the 3D. So I'm going to try and implant things into your consciousness to make you feel like you want to reach out to me. It's a cord that's still attached that he's using. Yeah, because I can't connect to you. This is like the home environment. I can't get to you here. So all of my thoughts and everything, I'm sending you energetically that way. Unwillingness to let go, I guess you could say. Still thinking about you a lot more than you would probably anticipate. What is my sister's spirit guide? Is it guiding her through all her health problems? Oh, that would be the spirit guide. That would be healing from the health problems. That would be finding a solution or getting unstuck so that she can heal from the health problems. This is like I'm taking a higher realm cup and I'm pouring it into your 3D. So I'm helping you to recognize where improvements could be made or where changes could be made, as in the spirit guide. Raphael, the heart chakra. So it may be that this is pointing to any physical ailments being ultimately a manifestation of a heart chakra imbalance or blockage. So needing to kind of open up and clear the heart space. My daughter would like to know what her past life was like and if she has a spirit guide. Very talented in something. I don't tend to believe this artist is literal. I feel like there was something that she was very skilled at, and it made her kind of outcasted from others who couldn't compete. And it feels like there was a kind of a downfall because of that. It's almost like she had something inside, but as she tried to share it externally, she got met with a lot of jealousy or cattiness. That may be a theme that has carried over into this lifetime as well. Whatever it is that she's really good at shines light on people who aren't able to harbor what they're really good at, and that creates tension. So it feels like that was a major theme in a past life for her. Don't compromise. Boundaries, assertiveness, courage, and unwavering. It feels as though her spirit guide is really helping her to heal her heart in ways that she can't remember that it needs to be healed from those past lives, so that any cattiness in this lifetime doesn't re-injure an old wound. Did I pick my 2 newest dogs or were they sent to me? A hand coming out of a cloud from the other realm. Spirit guides coming down. It feels like these are like angel guardians that came into your life at this specific time to help kind of uplift or remind you of your ability to love. Not remind you like you forgot, but like remind you, show you the difference that your love makes, because sometimes when you give it to people, you don't always get to see the difference it makes for them. So with the animals, you get to see how your love impacts them. And it feels like that's the reminder that you need it at this time. It's not that you weren't loving and now you are, it's that you were, but you weren't getting to see the effect of it. Will I have a large sum of money coming into me soon? Do you have an answer for the money coming in? Is news about it coming soon? Longer than expected? It's coming. It just feels like you're going to hear something about it before it comes in. And it feels like there's more time than you anticipate before it comes in. And there may be something thrown a little bit off balance because of the time gap, but it feels like it is coming. It just, the timing isn't what you anticipate. Does my husband have health issues that we are unaware of? Oh, husband. It feels like something that there's two of in the body. One side is not functioning as well as the other side. It doesn't feel like a critical thing, but it feels more of like a need to do preventative care to even it out so that it doesn't turn into something. So you'd be looking at something that there's two of in the body and what symptoms or what would happen if those two things were not balanced or flowing properly. But again, it's not like, I want to say it's not an emergency, but it's something that if you correct whatever it is that's maybe triggering it or amplifying it, it'll help in the long run. Will we move to a different house within the next 5 years? I don't know if it's necessarily in the next 5 years. I almost see you choosing to wait on something, like almost like I look and I find and I have an option, and then I decide something isn't all the way right with that option. I don't know if I'd say around 5 years. I feel like something shifts and you end up waiting at some point. Not that it's not possible, but it feels like it's a choice to end up waiting. And it might just be a little bit longer than 5 years, but it feels like not right at the 5-year mark. But it doesn't feel like that's because you're not able to. It feels like it's because you choose otherwise, if that makes sense. Was my brother's death intentional or accidental? Intentional or accidental? So accidental, but like there was something that could have helped to prevent it. Not that it was intentionally like that, but almost like something was overlooked or something was, the example I'm getting is, let's say you're walking down a street and there's like a big pothole and you end up falling in the pothole and breaking your leg. And like if the pothole was covered, so it's like accidental, but with like a tinge of something that could have been prevented, but not by you. It doesn't even feel like by him either. Because I'd say a ball was dropped somewhere on his behalf. But it feels like accidental, but accidental because of a ball being dropped. So I guess not intentional per se. Do I self-isolate from family and friends excessively, or is it all part of my healing journey? It's part of your healing journey. Right now, you need a little time to integrate what you've experienced, learned, and healed without the influence of other people's energies really holding you up. So there's a need to take your energy back for a point of time until the integration process. So it's not necessarily you need to heal more, so you need to seclude. It's that the healing you already did needs to change certain mindsets so that when you are being affected by other people's energies by being around them, it doesn't take the mindset backwards. So like almost like you've healed and now you're solidifying the healing before other people's energies can affect the progress you've already made. Will our business survive the next 3 years? Will our health be good to do so? Will it survive? Yes, but I don't really see in the next years, like next 3 years, a lot of forward progress, more of like a maintaining. But it does seem sustainable to continue to work on things. I see one of you either like over physically or over emotionally exhausting yourselves and needing to care for that so it doesn't turn into something deeper. I don't know if that's all the way related to the business, like any stress. I don't know if it's necessarily because of the business, but I feel like there may be energy levels or ability to push through certain things if there's not like a flow there in terms of, I guess I'd say, processing of emotions or like deeper seated imbalances. So will our health be good to do so? I feel like there's going to be a hiccup, but it's like manageable so long as you start to work on now the things that are off balance, physically or health wise. Message from Auntie Cal. You recently made a major, I guess I'd say, shift in mindset that you're not giving yourself enough credit for. You feel like you made a little change and you're like, whatever, I made a little change. But like she's saying, it's a bigger deal for you in terms of what unfolds next because of now being in the right mindset or shedding a mindset that was blocking you. So there's a need to give yourself a little bit more credit here. Blessing in disguise, trust, revelation, significance. I said surprise. Significance. It's more significant than you're giving yourself credit for. You made more leeway than you gave yourself credit for. Would E and I be together in the next life? Past, that would be the transition from one life into the other. And that would be essentially having a role that brings value into one another's lives. So that's highly likely. Like you play an important role in keeping one another grounded, I guess I'd say. Message from your parents. You're letting certain thoughts get away from you or run away with you. There's a need to kind of slow the thought traffic so that you can receive clarity in certain aspects. Not that you're not doing a good job, but it's just something that they're pointing out that they recognize, like slow your thoughts to receive the clarity that you are seeking. Spirit relationships, intuition, connection, signs, and inspiration. So what's on the third eye? The third eye, visualization, planning. It's like you'll see the next steps once you calm the mind center, the mind traffic. Does my husband, Chris, who passed away, have any messages for me? He still wants you to live your life and be happy, even though he's not there. There's a need to know that you still deserve to wake up and live the fullest version of your life every day. You're not doing anything wrong to him by doing that. He actually enjoys watching you, almost like he's referencing if like you're a video game character and he's the one that's kind of helping you maneuver certain things, and like he takes joy in the character beating the level, so to speak. So needing to really let yourself be okay, let yourself feel free from anything that you feel is energetically not allowing you to feel like you're allowed to be happy. You have nothing to feel guilty about. So don't feel guilty about having good days and letting yourself be happy. Cold spots and the chills. I feel like you might have just had that right now as that card came out, or that's going to be a sign that he gives you like maybe a certain song, you get chills. That's him being like, hey, I'm here. Oh, he wants a song. Hold on. You Make My Dreams Come True by Hall & Oates. Any messages from my spirit guides? Seeing this deck in my mind. The law of karma. You are being called to a higher purpose. Happiness is a choice, and they're guiding you to start to choose things that align with fulfillment instead of the 3D element of what success should look like. So I guess the message is focus on spiritual success rather than worldly success, and that will lead you to the worldly energy that you're seeking of success. Why is my sister's husband David so emotionally disconnected? How can she fix their marriage? It feels like in his mind, he's in an energy of, should I stay or should I go? And it feels like instead of talking about what's causing that, he's just shutting off. It feels as though almost like he doesn't feel like he can be who he needs to be to make her happy. And that's causing his ego to feel like, how do I word that? that's causing his ego to feel like she's the reason that he feels that way, when in reality it's because he's running from addressing the root cause of that. And it feels as though there's some deception here as well, but I tend to believe that's lying to himself and then hence being kind of shady with her, because whatever he's speaking on, there's a foundation of, I'm not being honest with myself, so how can anything I build on that will be built on dishonesty of self. Can she fix it? Yes, but it's going to require him to actually face that which he's running from, or he's just going to keep finding different excuses to continue the same patterns. Do I have any family members as guardian angels? Yes. Yes, you do. Specifically, who that has passed in your family is someone who's very good at pattern recognition when it comes to other people's behaviors. That is someone who's working very closely with you as a guide. Give me any insight as to my husband's future health. He's 74 and he feels he will not live much longer. It feels like this. It feels like there's going to be some something that comes up that's challenging health-wise, and it almost feels like he doesn't have the fight in him to fight against it. Or may kind of not feel like it's that important to take care of himself as that happens, because it's like, well, this is happening anyway. So it feels like needing to really be mindful of the mindset that he's allowing himself to stay in, because that will make it either harder or more uncomfortable as certain things happen, where if he continued to take as good care of himself as possible, it would make certain things easier to deal with and manage. Yeah, hospital bed or illness, a problem you can't avoid, surrender and exhaustion, trapped and confined, thinks of future with good intentions. So see, it like balance, it really, his state of mind will either make it more difficult for him, or will allow him to kind of continue fighting through certain problems. But I do see something coming up that's going to be hard to battle against, I guess I would say. 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, as I said that. So there is something coming that almost like he's not going to really want to fight it. But taking care of himself will help fight it, as well as mental health, taking care of himself. Wish I never met my biological dad and told he passed at 45. My mom told me my bio father never wanted to see me when I was a kid. Is it true? And does he have a message for you? Is it true about not wanting to see you as a kid? I would honestly say in this case, yes. There was a lot that he was dealing with that had him maybe coming from a lot more selfish energy, or from a place of, if I can't control it, I can't let it in my life. And it feels as though something between him and your mom may have been that element of, I can't control this, so it's better for me to just stay away. But it does feel like in his life review, he has come to recognize the fault in the mentality he had back then, and recognizing how much his actions hurt other people. Yeah, hurt other people. But I didn't realize that how bad I hurt other people until I passed. And now I'm seeing it from a different perspective. So I don't believe that you were lied to. I do think that that's pretty accurate, but I wouldn't say it's personal. I would say it's things that he was dealing with within his own self. I'm standing right there next to you. The earth is our school of lessons. I'm glad I got to experience so many wonderful things. I feel like his life was a little bit more difficult, but I feel as though this is really referring to the life review driving through the book here. And the standing next to you is like, we're still connected and we can still get to know each other now in like a spirit way, and allow space for him to make up for what he now views was a mistake. I have 3 siblings and feel like the black sheep of my 3 sisters. I am the oldest and most reserved. I think it goes with this one. What do you see as my gifts currently? And what are my undiscovered gifts? Well, you feel like the black sheep because you're the emotionally mature one. Reserved, and I retired as a good RN, good listener. Yeah, it feels as though you feel like the black sheep because your light shines differently than theirs. Not that they don't have light, but it feels like in terms of emotional maturity, almost like they felt like you were heights above them in your emotional maturity. And that really ties in with being an RN, I feel like you were very good at that. I almost feel like the black sheep is them not knowing how to really communicate to you in a way that felt like it was on the same level, and that triggering certain ego patterns within them. So I would say it's not personal, even though it kind of is personal, but it's more of the light that you carry that made you kind of feel outcasted. And it's because others have the opportunity to use that light to see certain things in themselves, or they can run from that light, and it feels like that's what they chose. Hold on, I messed these up. Yeah, 3 of Cups in reverse was the one that was flipped over. So that's like a group not really working together, and Ace of Swords. So I almost feel like you see right through people, and when people aren't ready for that, it's something that they'll outcast you for because you can't turn off the light and they can't hide from it in your presence. Hold on. Is there anything my sister Jamie can do to help her kids' souls flourish? Giving them different or more tools to strategize and plan, almost like helping to figure out how to connect them with the purpose that's outside of them that pulls them forward through difficult times. Something that they can always like look to fall back on as a tool when they feel like they're stuck. That could be spirituality, that could be like a craft or music or art or something. It's like connecting them with their niche and getting them to understand how important that is going to be and how to use that to rely on in times of stress later in life. See, why when I go to start and comes back, it's not in the right spot anymore? What is my sign from spirits that I'm on the right path? You're no longer afraid to pour into yourself when you feel depleted. You used to feel selfish for pouring into yourself because that meant you had less for other people. But now you're kind of graduating into, I'm not afraid to recognize when I need a minute, when I need time, when I need to process my emotions, when I need to go into hermit mode, or when I need to socialize. You are now recognizing your needs and giving yourself what you need. And that's a major step forward from where you were in terms of self-concept, especially. You see now that you're worthy of the love you give to others. And we have a magnifying glass with 100 on it. You completed 100% of the investigation, and now you're integrating. I had 2 lightning bolt-like spiritual sensations through my heart about 10 years ago while lying in bed. Any insight? Lightning bolt spiritual sensations through my heart. I almost want to say like a physical representation of a heart chakra opening or awakening. It wasn't necessarily anything bad. It was more of like a, you know, when the lights go off in the house and you have to go to the circuit breaker and turn everything off and on until you figure out which light it is. That's the image that I'm being shown. Like a resetting of your circuit board. Renewed connections. Resetting of your circuit board. Reunion, reconciliation, intimacy, and forgiveness. Almost like a turning on of your circuit board so you can use different tools that are available to you that you maybe weren't seeing due to a heart chakra needing to expand or open. My mother is 91 and declining in health. Is there any indication on how long she'll be with us? Do we have a time frame for her mother, or his mother? Is there an issue, major issue coming up? Is it within the next 6 months? 4 to 6 months? 3 to 6 months? Is the major issue an ending issue? Major decline? Does she have more than a year still? One to 2 years? Under 2 years? I'm not getting an exact time frame because I feel like it has something to do with an issue that's coming up and her ability to kind of fight through that. That will depend, almost like whatever treatment is given for an issue that comes up. It feels like the issue that comes up is in like the 4 to 6 month time frame, and then from there, I almost feel like I want to say around a 2-year mark most from treatment of an issue. So like once the issue that comes up gets treated, then that time frame would begin of about 2 years or under. I'm feeling 4 at the most, but I do feel like there's a major issue that is going to arise in 4 to 6 months. And I guess that could be 4 to 6 weeks, but it feels more like 4 to 6 months. An antidote. So it feels like there is something that can help when this issue does come up. But it feels like it ultimately brings things in a worse direction, even with the treatment, if that makes sense. My spirit guide got a message for me. The key to moving forward right now is some kind of expression of emotions that you've been avoiding facing. So what you avoid will be what sets you free is really the message. It feels like a mental pattern, like a thought pattern that doesn't serve you. Open your heart to love, vulnerability, forgiveness, allowing, and community. Excuse me. Yeah, it feels like, look, the key is right there hanging on the door. So I said the feelings will kind of set you free. The expression will set you free. So as you allow yourself to feel your feelings, that door on the card opens and then you see the next steps for yourself. The key is in what you're avoiding. What opportunities do you see for my daughter in the next 5 years? That wants to be on its side, huh? It feels like there's going to be a situation in where she's kind of forced to make a choice between two things that she doesn't really love. But it's like a temporary thing that puts her, how do I put this? So maybe a situation, for example, such as I'm choosing between two jobs, just for example. I don't really love either of them, but I'm picking the better of the two. But then as I go into that, I meet someone or I connect with someone that actually bridges me to where I want to be. So it's going to feel like lackluster at first, but it leads to the next stage of where she wants to be. Yeah. It feels like she meets someone that connects her with something bigger than she anticipated for herself, but she has to go through like a lack of fulfillment episode before that happens, because the lack of fulfillment puts her on the right connection to connect with something that maybe she wouldn't have reached for, but because of being unfulfilled and having the connection with someone, it brings those two together, and it's like opening an Easter egg level on a video game. Like you don't expect it for yourself, but you end up stepping into it kind of by accident. It feels like that's career related, but it doesn't have to be. Do I know my half sibling that passed? Telepathically. In person, I don't believe so, but telepathically, there's a connection. Almost like this person's been a spirit guide of yours. Almost like if you did meet them in person, you'd be like, wow, you feel oddly familiar, like from my head type of thing. But I don't believe in person now. Does my mom have a message to me for me? There's a need to be mindful about who has access to your energy or the way that other people are affecting your mindset. There's a need to remind yourself the power that you have to control your circumstances and life. It feels like something that's holding you back, but it's not holding you back because of your energy. It's like you have someone else's glasses on and their perspective is holding you back. So she's like, take the glasses off and you'll see a wider perspective. You know, those goggles that have like, what are they? Safety goggles. They have like the little things on the sides. It feels like needing to take them off so you can see a wider perspective of something. But it's not your little safety goggles. It's someone else's. It's like you had to put on safety goggles to make it through a certain situation that were somebody else's safety goggles. Zedekiel, Angel Zedekiel, purple. Destiny, pride, conscious, and forgiveness. Forgiving yourself for something that you allowed that now with your knowledge you wouldn't have allowed, but still needing to forgive yourself. That's what takes the glasses off. How can I help heal my husband's heartbreak and insecurities caused by me during our marriage? Will he ever love me again? I feel like he still does love you, and that's the problem. Because he feels like if I love you and I show it, then I have something more to lose, and I feel like I've lost a lot of myself. Yeah, it's like I don't. It feels like he does love you, and that's why he's putting up walls and scared to get close, because if I have it to lose, then it's scarier because I've already lost pieces of me. And because I've lost pieces of me, if I lose more of you, I don't have the me to rebuild from the whole, it feels like. It feels like something that's just going to need to take time. And I want to say space, but not like pulling away, more like I offer you space and then I say, come fill the space when you're ready and I'll be here type of thing. It feels just needing to kind of rebuild from the ground up and almost like, I guess I'd say starting anew energetically. What was your lesson? The law of growth. Be steadfast in your faith and stay the course. So yeah, just kind of like giving it time and space to unfold, with the energy of rebuilding from the ground up. It feels like you need to focus on helping him rebuild him so that he has the foundation to feel like he could handle a hiccup, if that makes sense. Oh no, it happened again. My daughter going to marry the man she is with. Yes, but also I wouldn't be surprised if there was something like an engagement and then an issue during the engagement, or an engagement and then maybe called off and rescheduled, or uh, we choose this date and then end up moving it. There's something like that, but it does look like they end up working it out. Almost like one of them gets cold feet and self-sabotages because of a fear of long-term commitment, or maybe even just in terms of like the commitment of paperwork of marriage and what that means if it doesn't work. It feels like someone ends up getting overwhelmed by that, but then coming back together. What specific changes do I need to make to see money abundance via my side jewelry gig? Would there be a way to, I'm just going to say, like, rope in a story of the jewelry, or a divine connection to the jewelry, or like bringing in another element? Like, you have jewelry, what can go with the jewelry that connects people to like a bigger mission, or like a something that makes them think, or maybe like a series where different jewelry tells a different story or something like that, like something to get people hooked into not just like a one and done, but like a, oh, I want to keep tabs and see what's unfolding type of thing. It feels like it has something to do with bringing in spirituality, of some sort, like connected to the jewelry. And it could be like, instead of spirituality, like mental health or something, like different tools to use, but like something with the jewelry, but not another item, like another avenue of thought, I guess. The ethical enforcer. See how he's holding a crystal ball and a bigger ball? It's like this is the jewelry connecting to a bigger purpose. I guess I'd say connecting it to a bigger purpose or a storyline of some sort. The philanthropist, balancing wealth and charitable giving. So the more you give with the jewelry in terms of a storyline or a foundation, the more you receive. That's how you unlock the wealth. I guess I'd say making people think deeper somehow, or like it's not just jewelry, it's jewelry plus a message or a story. Oh, thank you for saying that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's pull a card for you. You're meant to be part of the reckoning, fam. This is giving me the energy of when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and when the student is really ready, the teacher disappears. Not that I'm going anywhere, but just that almost like you're going to be teaching what you learned to other people, either through literal teaching or like leading by example. Archangel Uriel, passion, epiphany, entrepreneur, and driven, like writing scrolls. I feel like channeled writing is something that right now will help you interpret or integrate what you've learned in a way that you can use in a different way. I've been using tarot to strengthen my gifts. Is that the best way to practice for me? Yes, and almost like right now you're pulling tarot and then being like, okay, that's the message. Try and do it the reversed way where sit with it, get something in your mind, and then confirm with cards. It'll strengthen your intuition. So yes, but using it in different ways also in addition to the ways that you're already using it. Does my mom have any messages for me? Yes. You completed a major chapter, but you're still not celebrating yourself. And there's something in the celebrating yourself that unlocks the availability to use the energies that you learned about in the previous chapters. The law of love, your heart knows no bounds. I feel like that's self-love. Like let yourself engage in pouring into yourself the way that you pour out for others. Because it unlocks something in your psyche that helps you experience different things. It feels like, and bring in excitement of some sort. I'm sending you good luck and fortune, and I'm with the rest of the family. In July, will I be told I'm cancer-free? Do we have an answer for Cancer? Will she get an answer in July? Yes. Will she be told she's cancer-free? Will she not be cancer-free? Still in remission of some sort? On the way to being cancer-free? So I feel like this can go two ways. Either yes, and then something pops up and you take care of it, or no, but you're on the way to being. So it feels like prepare for a little bit of a hiccup, and anything can happen. That's not set in stone, but prepare for a little bit of a hiccup in some way. Yeah, not final yet. You're not all the way out of in the clear yet, but you're heading in that direction. Dad, will you not communicate here with Ashley? It is an anniversary of possible week passing. What was the crossover like? I was there every There's something that you recently experienced that will make the message now make sense. It's like you are more open to believing the interpretation that no matter what you saw unfold in the 3D, his soul was ready. And it's like he kind of, I guess it's a hung on or really fought until he felt like everyone was okay. But he was okay, but like on a soul level. So it was hard for him to express that. He knows that you were there. The crossover, I almost want to word it like the crossover happened before the crossover, like almost like he was in a state of going back and forth. And maybe that's in dreams, or maybe that's with whatever he had going on health wise, but he was more prepared than it may have looked like he was. And there was a feeling of holding on long enough until it felt like everyone else was okay and ready. But it feels like you worry a lot about if he was very scared or if there was anything left undone. And he's saying, my soul was ready. Like my spirit team prepared me before the transition. So I just keep getting the image of like going back and forth between realms to like make himself okay. I'm reunited with pets. If my passing has been difficult, I'm sending you joy and adaptability. And I love you with all my soul's being. Gonna stay on about 5 more minutes. So I have to catch up on some readings today, because it's the end of the week. Uh-oh, where am I? Is this my year for travel and adventure? Not that it can't happen. I just feel like something else is taking precedence over that. Or maybe it's even that where you want to travel in the world, it's not the best timing, or maybe certain travel restrictions. I feel like it's possible, but something holds it up. So not that you can't do it, but something externally that's kind of beyond your control is messing with the timing of things. I almost feel like you plan something and then you realize there's a risk to something and you're like, I'm going to wait. And it feels like that's something going on externally, not within your own world. So it doesn't feel like this year. Any message from my mom who passed away about my scan today? I'm very nervous about it. No matter what unfolds, there's going to be some kind of solution. No matter what unfolds, there's going to be a solution. So it feels like if something doesn't come up this time, there may be something in the near future that also needs to be looked into, but it feels like something does come out of something like a scan or an evaluation. Something comes that needs to be adjusted or looked into or treatment for, but that goes well. So like there may be a hiccup, but there's also a solution. So let yourself take it moment by moment. And she's right there with you through this. The earth is our school. The light, she's helping you to try and learn how to see the light by creating your own light in what feels like a dark situation. Not dark as in something catastrophic, that's not it, but just like stressful, not being able to see too many steps ahead. 10 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So with 10 of Pentacles behind it and the Sun. So she's helping you to learn through this trying time an important lesson by, or not by, she's helping you through reminding you to keep focusing on the light, even if there are certain complications, because there's going to be a solution. So if you know there's going to be a solution, it will help you in those leading up moments to the solution. I lost my dog last year. I feel like she was my soul dog. I miss her so much. Was she my soul pup? And any messages from her? Not that there's anything about her, the passing, that's bad, but the reason for the timing of the transition from 3D to spirit is because you need this dog as a spirit guide for the next chapter. And not that that caused the unaliving at all. Just almost like as a soul from the dog said, it's time for me to go be able to guide you in a different way so that you can get into a feeling of fulfillment. Yeah, High Priestess. I feel like this dog communicates to you through music a lot, and almost like you second guess it because you're like, how could a dog be having that conversation? Spirit orbs. It's beneficial for me to be with you in a different form. That's the different form. Don't be afraid. I'll be there to hold your hand every step of the way. It's like going for a walk on the bridge, but in a different form. So you're not alone. Let's see what song. If You Could Feel My Love by Vaux is the song. Will my husband and I finally get our own place again? Yes, big yes. What you deserve finally coming in terms of good karma. You planted a seed, you're waiting for it to sprout, and this would be somewhere where you feel stable and secure. Somewhere where you can, somewhere that brings you value so that you can then reinvest the value. So it gives you the value of security. And then since you feel secure, you can invest in different things energetically. I'm going to do like 3 more. What is the best way for me to use my gifts? I have always felt like I knew things before they happened. Learning to test your intuition so that you can trust it. So your intuition is already there. You just need to believe through seeing and getting proof that what you're intuitively feeling is what's unfolding. And as you do that, it'll start to increase, not because it's necessarily increasing, but because you're paying attention to it more. The law of rhythm, getting into the rhythm of how it all works for you. The universe is guiding you. Go with the flow. So she's looking over at a building. It's like a old time structure that's well built. It's like, this is already here. The foundation is already here. The building is already here. You just need to figure out each piece and how it interprets into how you receive messages. So I guess I'd say either meditating or getting feelings, starting to write stuff down, and then what are your thoughts or feelings or hits about that, and then seeing how it unfolds, or checking with like tarot or something like that. But basically taking what you feel and figuring out the accuracy of it so that you can understand how you're understanding the communication from your guides. Like creating a Morse code, I guess you could say. Is there any negative entity attached? Is the cord cutting process working? Yes, it's working. It's working. So the cord is being cut, but there's a certain mindset when it comes to how you see yourself that is still coming from the perspective of the person that was on the other side of the cord. So the cord is going, but how it is programmed to affect you internally, there's something still running from that cord. So think of it like a magnet. If that's still happening and that the person tries to reconnect the cord, it will magnet to what's already in there that's like part of its thought process. So changing the mindset that has developed from the other person's perspective will make it so that the cord cannot reattach if the other person tries to reattach it. I think negative entity, what you're feeling is, I don't feel the cord anymore, but then what's that mindset that's not serving me? And it's because of the, what's that word? Residue. I think that might be the word, the residue of what the cord has caused in your mindset. So needing to reprogram some way that you see yourself that is because of the negative elements of that person on the other end of the cord. Was my mom's transition good? Yes, you have nothing to worry about. That's you worrying. That's you fighting with yourself. If you look back at a certain conversation that you had with her, I want to say in like the 2-ish weeks before her passing, it's almost like she didn't know what she was saying and you couldn't have known what she was saying, but almost like her soul confirmed to you that it was coming and she was okay, or that she was going to be okay when it happened. It's like something very specific. I'm almost seeing you sitting next to a bedside, so I don't know if that's her just saying when I was sick or literal sitting next to a bedside is when she said something, but she's trying to essentially say, yes, the transition was good. And if you look back and think of that conversation, you'll see that I knew on a soul level and was ready. So that like the transition was already being prepared for her, if that makes sense. Like the red carpet being laid out for her. Oh, you heard my voice and whispers calling your name. This is referring to that conversation that she's talking about. I feel healthy and happy. So that answers the question. Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Relationship, movement forward or just sit content? Not sit content. Almost like you're not listening to certain things that your intuition is highlighting as a blockage within a relationship that may be causing blockages for self. Like, I'm investing in this programming in the context of a relationship, and that's causing me to carry that mindset over to something with myself that's not serving me. So it feels like needing to release a resistance to change by maybe having a hard conversation or seeing something from a different perspective. So not just sit. some kind of action. I'm just going to say like an action of coming together, or an action of allowing your spiritual sense to incorporate into changing something in the 3D. Like, how would you look at the situation from a spiritual perspective versus how you're looking at it from a 3D perspective? And then what can be done to kind of merge the two perspectives? Will my brain fog get better? What is the cause? It feels like, how do I word this? There's a lot of stagnant energy within, and it is seeking an outlet, but doesn't have the outlet. So almost like, you know, when you have a pool and you have that little filter thing that's on the outside of the pool, and all the water from the pool comes in there and it swirls around really fast. The water wants to be let out the hose and drained because it's built up too much pressure. So having an outlet for expression, that can be art, it can be some kind of creative element, it can be some kind of career element. It's like needing something to focus on. It's the example that I give of being in a well and you have a rope, but you need something above to tie the rope to, or else the rope does no good. It feels like that, needing to figure out what to tie the rope to so that you can pull yourself out of the hole. Like swirling energy that needs to find an outlet or a release. So it can get better, yes. I feel like this has a lot to do with intellectual stimulation, almost like your brain is bored. Your brain wants more stimulation. And because it's not getting it in the way it wants, it's like, okay, I'm going to be foggy then, until you open the window and let the fog out. And that's the outlet of creativity or something to that extent. I'm going to do one more. I do not know where I'm at. I think I went back to the top. Any messages from my father? I'm hearing something about a book, but I don't really know how it's translating with these cards. So I feel like it's like a side note. Either a book you just read or encouraging you. Something about like a mindset shift that can occur through some book. I don't know. He's shown it to me as like a hardcover book with a red cover. I don't know how that translates. But the message is almost like needing to move the energy that's within you in order to see certain things in the 3D open up wider for you in terms of either healing or progress. And there's something recently that you decided, I'm going to say decided against, and he's really proud of you. That could be something like a mindset that like, oh, I'm not going to go down that thought path, or it could be something like, I'm not going to do that physically. But he's very proud of you because you chose yourself. Okay, hold on. Has sneeze. Okay. I send you loving signs through nature and when you see butterflies. it's like the choice that you made that he's referring to was you leaving the cocoon, and now you're the butterfly instead of the caterpillar. All right, last one. I get random pains where my gallbladder used to be. Scans are normal. What is causing the pain? It's like your body is not liking something that it is getting, or it could be like a need to do a detox or a cleanse or something like that. Like it's not something that you'd be like allergic to, but it's something that your body is just not agreeing with in some way. Okay, so the conflicted self, the C, the unknown, confliction in the stomach. Great force or power. I just want to say like a buildup of something in the stomach that's causing pressure almost, or like tension. I would say maybe looking into, there's that thing that they do that tells you what kind of foods your body likes and what it doesn't. It feels like something's bothering you, but it's not something that's giving an allergic reaction. It's just something that's causing a buildup because your body's not processing it right, if that makes sense. All right, everyone, I'm going to hop off. I have to go catch up on readings. I will be on, I think, Tuesday for Members Live next week. Yeah, thank you all for coming. I'll talk to you soon.